Hello, my name's John. It's time to do another conversion, and you're watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies. Hello, and welcome back to another video. With the recent announcement of Necromunda Hive Secundus, I've decided to do a Necromunda conversion based on the Warhammer 40,000 Genestealer Hermaphage. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And what I'm going to work on is a conversion of the Hermaphage Magus for Necromunda. I'll put an image up on the screen from one of the many Necromunda books. I could just use this model as is, but I want to do a few little conversions on it, make it a bit of an individual model. So I have various sprues ranging from Genestealer hybrids to Death Corp of Krieg, and we're going to see where this goes. So first things first, I want to actually make the basic body of this model, so I'll start by trimming the legs out and getting the main body. Now I'm really looking forward to Hive Secundus when it comes out. I have to say, Necromunda is my favourite game produced by Games Workshop. It has been since it first came out in the 90s, and since they've revived it with the new version, I'm enjoying it immensely. I do prefer making the models and things from it, but every so often I do have a bit of a play. But I thought with Secundus being announced and there being a lot of Genestealers in it, I thought it'd be quite nice to do a conversion based on some of the previous Genestealer items that are available in Necromunda. So this model itself, there's not going to be many conversion kind of parts in it. It's going to be kept quite similar to the original model. The one thing that I have noticed while I was working out parts for this is, for details, it might be more of a mirror image than the image. So it might be more of a mirror image of the image, just because of the parts that I can kind of get hold of for specific kind of details, like the medical equipment on its arm and that kind of thing. But that's okay. It's just an inspirational piece, that artwork, to start with. But likewise, I don't want to spend ages and ages on this conversion. I just want a nice quick conversion that's probably going to be a head swap, as well as maybe arms and a few detail changes to the backpack and so on. Okay, let's just... Oh, I'll put that on backwards. There we go. Let's put that the right way around quickly. Always pay attention to what you're doing. As you can see, I'm not reading the instructions. I'm just jumping ahead into this. So while I've got that body, what I will do, I've got some Necromunda bases from my Enforcer box set, and I'm just going to grab one of those and I'm going to stick this guy straight down onto the base, just to make it a little bit easier for the conversion. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So it's a pretty simple model, this one. You've got the arms stopping at the elbows, an easy kind of gap for the head to be put in. So the first things first, if I put that image back up on the screen, I want to find a head that works for this. Now, as you can see in the image, it's quite an open head, whereas the one that comes with this has got a really high collar going around it, which I don't think is going to work for the model that I'm doing. So I'm going to have a look at this hybrid sprue, and the one that I'm looking at is just one of the simple ones with goggles. So I've got one just there, which is a grimacing head. There is a yelling head there. I'm just having a look at what other options I've got on these ones. They go a little bit more alien-esque, Genestealer-like ones with the more bulbous heads. I don't really want those. I've also got the option on some more hybrid sprues. There is that one there with the goggles, but I don't like the bits going out. I'm going to go with the grimacing head on this one. It's, like I said, it's not going to be an overly complex conversion, this one. But yeah, I think that works quite nicely, but we're not going to stick that in yet. I'm going to look at the hands. So, the original hands on this, we have one holding what looks like a test tube, and then one holding this staff. Now I'm thinking, looking at this Death Corp sprue, I have just here the medic arm, which is holding a syringe and the other hand is holding a vial of something. So I'm wondering, I'm going to cut this off from this sprue. I'm going to see what it looks like on here, because that might be exactly the kind of pose look that I'm going for with this specific model. Let's carefully tidy this up. Okay. So, first things first, does it work just coming off? Oops. Now you see, I think that does work there, but I think the hand is too far away to actually, I don't know, let's have a, yeah, I think that's too far for it to go. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to trim off the hand with the vial, and I'm going to make a, make a separate needle for this, and that's going to go just straight in to that hand there. Then what I need to do is think about the left hand. So, as I said before, currently it's holding this staff. Just going to have a look and see what other options I've got for left hands, because all of the, nearly all of the Genestealer hybrid hands have the kind of the big gloves on, which works quite nicely for this conversion. Okay. Let's so they're armed with a las pistol and razor sharp talons, because in the image there is that Genestealer hand as well. So I might, let's have a look what I've got on the, let's have a look, what, okay, so I'm thinking and not verbalising right now. Maybe, oops, don't want to lose that. So there is, on the little familiar that comes with this model, there is the Genestealer hands. I don't think there's going to be any way easily to put them into this. Like in the image, it's got it coming under the coat, but I don't think that's going to work for this one. Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm having an idea that maybe this medical arm goes on the left hand, and I change the left hand, and the right hand I just go back to the one with the vial. But it could, instead of the vial, I'm wondering if I could put that syringe. Right, let's just get that off. So if you haven't seen my other conversion videos, I've done one recently with a squat character. Hang on, there we go. For Necromunda, there is my ancient gunslinger. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I quite like doing, excuse me, these conversion videos while I'm still thinking about the conversion itself, so you can kind of see the process I'm going through. So that hand is pulling a test tube out of the belt, which works quite nicely. So joining me now, I've had a little bit of thinking time, and I've been working out where I want to position things, and what I'm coming up with is okay, yeah, so I'm going to have this hand on this side, and I'm going to adjust the syringe so there's a little needle on the end. I'm then going to get the bell jar, I think it's a bell jar, and I'm going to put it in this hand. So I'll have to take off all the kind of the little hands on there, and then I'm going to adjust it so it goes onto this. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do some cutting and chopping, and I'll fast forward this bit, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so doing a little bit of chopping here and there. I've decided, whilst doing that I will put that medical arm on this side and take the hand off, replace it with one holding this bell jar, and then this one's going to be the standard one pulling out a test tube from the belt. So I'm going to stick that one in place. And there we go. And then this one, let's remove the hand carefully. I could have done that a little bit more carefully, but never mind. Okay. Let's stick this in place. Oops. Whoops, dropping everything. Be careful when I do this. So what I'm aware of whilst putting this on this side, there is a little gap just there, which I will have to fill with some green stuff. That's okay. So what I'm going to do now, while that dries, I'm going to carefully trim the neck of the bell jar. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to stick it to this hand. So this hand was one of the handlebar holding hands from, I think it's the Atlan Jackal kit. If I can get this to stick. We need a bit more glue on there. Actually, I need to trim that so it's a bit pointing in the right direction. This is all getting very tiny. Let's trim that. I need to trim that hand slightly. Awkward now I've stuck the bell jar to it, but that's okay, I can work it out. Always re-glue it as it's plastic. As I don't have many of these hands, I don't want to screw it up. There we go. Okay, ooh, might be too much. Might be too much. I think I've done it the wrong way. Never mind. I can always put more glue in, make the... Yeah, I did cut it the wrong way, never mind. No, I need to sort that out. That's not how I want it to be. Okay, let me cut that again. This is going to get a bit annoying, but I'm going to have to use some green stuff later on to tidy this up. Just checking, hopefully this has all been on camera. Okay, that needs to go just like, okay. It's getting there. Let's dab some glue into places. Okay. Right, hopefully that's not going to move too much while the glue's drying. Right, it helps if I don't fiddle with it. Right, while that's drying, I'm going to sort out the backpack. So it's quite large at the moment, the backpack. Let's trim it out and see what I can do to it. So, obviously, because I don't have the staff now, I can get rid of that pipe. Let's have a look at the image again. Okay, so there is like a globe sticking out the top on that one. So I'm trying to get this as close as possible, because I'm happy with it. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to take off that bit and I'm going to replace it with that kind of clawy spike on a hinge. Just cut it off completely like that. Okay, so I'm going to just trim this off just there. And then I'm just going to glue that on. Let that glue do its thing. Let's stick this to the back of this guy. So it's not an overly complex conversion, this one, when it comes down to it. A little bit of chopping and changing of parts here and there. I'm going to need to do a little bit of green stuff later, but I want to let the glue fully dry before I do any of that. So let's get the top of the flask glued on, and also the head. So I'll have to decide which direction I want the head facing once I've glued this in place. Oh, this is going to be a little bit of a okay, let's hold that for a second. Okay, so I think I'm going to have this character looking at the smoking bell jar, as it gives a bit of a kind of a narrative within the model itself. I've got to sort out a few mould lines and whatnot, but okay, I'm going to call that. So, as normal, I'll put some pictures at the end of close-up details so you can see this in kind of better detail. I am going to do a bit of cleaning up on this later, some green stuff work and so on. But here is that Necromunda Hermaphage Magus. Little simple conversion, but I think it's worked quite effectively. If you've got any thoughts on this one, please drop a comment. Also, I'd like to say thank you to everyone else who's been following me recently. It's much appreciated. If you've got any suggestions for future videos, likewise drop a comment. As I said, I'll put some photos at the end of the video, but for now, thanks for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies.